Question number 6, Catherine Delahunty.
Tēnā koe he mangai au te whare, tēnā koutou ngā member o te Paramata, he mihi nui ki te wiki o te reo Māori, te reo rangatira. To the Minister of Energy and Resources. Does the government still think that increased mining should be a priority for creating jobs, given the recent spate of mine closures and layoffs, including the announcement this week that the Reefton Oceania Mine will be mothballed?
Honourable Simon Bridges.
Yes, we have seen clear evidence in New Zealand over the last year that companies have been able to raise money and that the local mining industry is expanding. To give the member a sense of that, in 2012, total exploration expenditure was estimated at a record high for New Zealand of $50 million, showing a continuing confidence to invest in mining in New Zealand. Probably right to say internationally, mining, like so many other sectors, is in a contractionary phase, but New Zealand's bucking that trend and the government doesn't want to be a slave to cycles. We think long term, Ms Delahunty.
Supplementary
question, Catherine Delahunty.
So is the government still pinning its economic hopes on a mining boom, despite plunging prices for coal and gold, and despite the hundreds of job losses in recent months?
Honourable Simon Bridges.
Well, no, what is true is we've been raising the profile of the sector, but it's only a part, some would say a small part, of a much wider business growth agenda and jobs agenda, including intensive farming, aquaculture and the like. But I'd make it very clear to the member who, in her question, implies a dislike of coal, that it's opportunities like what Bathurst is wanting to do in the South Island that actually lead to the steel that make the wind turbines that she pins her hopes on.
Supplementary question, Catherine Delahunty.
Given that the gold price has plunged 25% this year, has he read reports by mining experts that warn the gold price could collapse further and now is not the time to invest in gold mining? And why is he gambling the country's economic future by betting that these experts have it wrong?
Honourable Simon Bridges.
I've read many reports on these things, but we don't take a boom and bust approach to things, Ms Delahunty. Actually, as I said in my primary answer, we take a long-term view. Now, if the member wants to bet against the fact that people will be wanting and consuming and using gold for many, many, many years to come, I'd say she's foolhardy.
Supplementary
question, Catherine Delahunty.
Does he agree with Bulla Mayor Pat McManus, who said in response to the Reefton cutbacks that the district has to diversify its economy? And doesn't that mean it should not be reliant on his boom and bust gold industry?
Honourable Simon Bridges.
Well, I'd like to see the comments in their proper context, but the fact of the matter is gold mining at Reefton has been contributing $45 million to that community for some time. And actually on the West Coast, as we've seen in recent regional GDP figures, the West Coast is one of the strongest performers. Yes, on the back of agriculture, but certainly also on the back of mining. We've been doing it well for a very long time, and I think it's right that this government seeks to lift that profile.
Supplementary question, Catherine Delahunty.
Given the fact that companies like Oceania Gold have started mothballing their mining projects, and towns like Waihi, after 25 years of gold mining, are still struggling economically, is he prepared to revise his strategy and support more sustainable economic development?
Speaker.
Honourable Simon Bridges.
Well, the member's simply wrong, because the fact of the matter is, if one looks at Oceania Gold, whilst it's right to say they're putting on hold the Reefton mine, they've also got other opportunities in New Zealand that they continue with. And this government doesn't back any particular business. Actually, we take, as I've said, a long-term view. And while one business may not be doing so well, there are a number of others that are increasingly doing more, that are raising capital, like Chatham Rock Phosphate, like Trans-Tasman Resources, and many others I could list. But I come back to it. If she talks about sustainable growth, there is not going to be in the foreseeable future, unless she's I'd say to the member, there will be a place for mining, and to take, for example, that coal that she loves to hate so much, it's necessary in all the renewable projects that she likes to think of.
Mr Speaker, supplementary.
Supplementary question, Catherine Delahunty.
Is it really worth destroying unique landscapes like Denniston for the sake of an industry that employs few New Zealanders, is laying off workers and sends most of its profits offshore?
Honourable Simon Bridges.
Well, the bankruptcy of that member's position is she wants to just get coal that's done much dirtier from other parts of the world and bring it back here in the form of steel and so on that we need in this country in a modern economy. But the fact of the matter is, my colleague, Honourable Dr Nick Smith, has been working very hard and sensitively on the kind of issues she raises, and the premise in her, well, he is a sensitive new age guy,
Order.
Mr Speaker. But the premise of her question is just plain wrong.
Supplementary question, Catherine Delahunty.
Equally sensitively, rather than betting all its chips on the environmentally destructive bust and boom mining industry that creates few jobs, will National instead take on more green policy and invest in ICT, green manufacturing and ecotourism, which already employ more people than mining does?
Honourable Simon Bridges.
Well, kia ora, Ms Delahunty. The fact of the matter is, actually, we have been investing more in the areas she talks about, in ICT, in tourism, and maybe she should go back and read the budget.
Speaker.
Supplementary question.
Point of order.
Point of order, Catherine Delahunty.
Mr Speaker, I seek leave to table a metals report from Ernst & Young which states the 10 major reasons why you should not invest in gold
Leave is
mining.
sought to table that document. Is there any objection? There is objection. Question number 7, Jacinda Ardern.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Kia ora koutou.
Order. Jacinda Ardern.
Kia ora koutou te whare. My